how do you pick what is the next disease you're going to tackle? Like, what an amazing ambition. And then how do you go after it?
Yeah, so most diseases, we're going for a burden reduction. Only very few diseases should you try to go for eradication because it's very, very hard to get to zero. And right now with polio, we're in Afghanistan, we're in Gaza, we're in Somalia, we're in DRC, and, we're having to execute high coverage vaccination campaigns against misinformation and violence in the toughest places in the world. So it's very, very hard. Polio's close. There's one called Guinea Worm, which is confined to Africa, where President Carter just got to 100. He's been a champion of that. So we're hoping he'll be alive not only to vote in the election, but also to come to the Guinea Worm celebration party. It's going to take a couple of years, so he's going to have to hang on a little longer. So the magic thing that happened at the turn of the century was people got serious about global health, about really measuring, okay, kids die of diarrhea, but what caused that diarrhea? They die of pneumonia, malaria. Okay, it's more clear what that is. But even though there's no market, the people who die of malaria, 500,000 kids a year, it's not like you can make a business case of, hey, go to Silicon Valley and do a malaria startup and, look at that spreadsheet. The line that says life saved will look good, but the line that says profit will have a lot of red numbers because they can't afford these tools. So medical science is very distorted towards rich world conditions, and even amongst rich world conditions towards cancer and a few other things. So the incentive system is, potentially could be improved. But the Gates Foundation, that's our place we come to fill in, is that the things that aren't market driven, like getting diarrheal vaccines cheap enough for all the kids of the world, not just the rich kids who don't die of diarrhea, but that also used to be 500,000, now down to 100,000. So as we went from 10 million under 5 deaths per year at the turn of the century to 5 million, diarrhea was one of our best. Pneumonia, we got a vaccine out for that, which was a very expensive vaccine that we worked with all the vaccine companies, Western and Asian, to get those prices down. And so we're basically driven by the inequity, where we say, why do mothers die in childbirth 20 times as much in Africa? Why do kids die 50 times as much in their first 5 years in poor countries, particularly Africa, but also Southeast Asia? And so we're taking all of those and saying, okay, let's find the best scientists. Let's understand the field conditions. Is this stuff deliverable? Will it be accepted? We have crazy ways of killing mosquitoes. That alone doesn't get rid of malaria, but if you treat a lot of humans and the reinfection rate has been massively reduced, then you can get to the point the U.S. got to, because we had malaria, where you've cleared during the low season, that's the winter here and the dry season there, you've actually cleared the parasite, so there's no humans, so there's no reinfection taking place. And, in the next, hopefully well less than 20 years, we have 5 years now, we need to do the tools. So our goal is to finish polio during this 5 years, and then with new tools, get the credibility to get the world to fund a malaria eradication starting in 2030.
Yeah, totally awesome. One of the other projects we work on together is AI and drug discovery. And so this is one of the ones I think we may actually even begin to see, some of the earliest, kind of global benefit from. So what areas of AI drug discovery are you kind of most focused on and think can make a kind of a global health difference?
Understanding protein and molecular shape space is a perfect AI problem, because we have databases, the protein database, that, we have 150,000 molecules, we know the shapes. And so as we've trained AI on those, their ability to predict the shapes and therefore the druggable sites in these proteins, that is accelerating medical discovery. There was actually a company called Schrödinger that was doing it pre-AI, but now there might be 20 times as many people and progressing much faster because AI is very, very well suited to this. And eventually AI won't just model the low level what the shape is, but it'll model the cell and the organ and the organism. And so even complex disease dynamics, it's beyond human understanding to map out all the different things that go on. The AI models, as you gather the data, which will be the limiting factor, will help you understand, overnutrition, malnutrition, way better than we do today. So, most things, put aside neurological, in the next 10 to 20 years, I would say the likelihood of dramatic medical advances, even in neurological, one thing, Alzheimer's, I'd say those would be solved.